Companies are adopting cloud-native applications and microservices using Pivotal Cloud Foundry because it's easy. It takes a lot of the hassle and heartache of provisioning servers and worrying about the operating system and those sorts of things out of the picture. Companies get to focus on building the best application they can for a compelling experience for their customers. However, when it comes time to deploy that application out to servers, there is no way to update the database alongside those application changes. That's why Datical integrates with Pivotal Concourse to speed that full stack application delivery. Customers that use Pivotal Cloud Foundry and Datical and integrate through Pivotal Concourse are able to, with one button click, deploy their entire application, database changes alongside the application code changes.
The way Datical is integrated with Concourse is through a Docker container that's available to Datical customers. What this does is allow them to be able to use it in conjunction with Pivotal Concourse, and it makes it very easy for implementation. Now, the first time it runs, it's going to download this Docker container, and then it's going to begin to execute Datical code packager against some SQL files that were checked in to Git. Now what this does is it puts it into the Datical object model, which allows it to then run forecasts and rules against the proposed SQL changes before it gets into the object model and before those changes are persisted to a database. This is really valuable because it gives very quick feedback to developers when their SQL changes violate corporate or technical standards that are represented in the rules. You can think of them sort of like unit tests for your code. Now in this case, a developer put a grant in a stored procedure, which we will not allow. And so that's going to fail this step. Now after the failure, we're then going to log into the machine and make that change and check it in, and then we'll see what happens. Now that I've been notified that my stored procedure has violated a rule, as a developer, I need to edit it. So here we see the offending line. It's that grant right there, and we need to go ahead and get rid of that. Once we're done with that, we'll go ahead and check that into our Git repository, which will allow the code packager to then find the new version and will hopefully be successful at that point. Now that we've fixed our stored procedure and removed the offending grant statement, we can run code packager again. Now again, this is going to get it ready for us to move it to the next environment, whether that's dev, test, or production. And in effect, what we've done is we've allowed developers to align those database changes with their application changes, making certain that corporate, regulatory, and technical standards are met. So whatever internal naming conventions you have or rules on indexes, the number of indexes you can have on a table, or even enforcing that foreign keys all have an index on the columns that are part of the foreign key, Datical can now enforce that. Now that Code Packager has completed successfully, we can now push with confidence to our development environment. Now, of course, we could also push to test, production, or any other server we wanted to. And we can have full confidence that all of our corporate, regulatory, and technical standards for database changes are being enforced automatically without people manually reviewing or requiring people to be on a keyboard to make these changes. Now that we've had a successful deployment to the development environment, let's go to the Datical monitoring console and look at those changes. Now, when you look at the dashboard, you're going to see that there have been two successful deployments. The first was the code packager, and the second is the push to the development environment. Now, if we open this up, we can see through the deployment report all sorts of information about the environment and the specific changes that were made. And now that we've verified that we've had a successful deployment, we can now go and tackle other tasks, maybe start a new sprint, or then create those new features that our customers are waiting for.